United States of Europe making fun of the EU the American way. This week, media update. Time magazine is fake news, says the man who is photoshopping himself into a fake Time magazine cover. Maybe it is fair to ask, why are some newspapers and media outlets so biased? For example, in the EU, let's ask ourselves, why do some newspapers hate the EU so much? Case in point, The Sun, or as it's referred to by its owner, Rupert Murdoch, the skin cancer. The Sun, UK. Yes, it's true that sunshine can be the best disinfectant, but too much sun and things start to get a little hazy. You may know The Sun in the UK for illegally phone hacking UK celebrities, or for their owner, Rupert Murdoch, saying, "When I go into Downing Street, they do what I say. When I go to Brussels, they take no notice." That was my Rupert Murdoch voice. Full disclosure, we cannot confirm that he actually said that, since we didn't illegally phone hack his conversation. And of course, The Sun played a major role in the Brexit vote, in Britain voting to leave the EU. For example, based on a quote from Queen Elizabeth that could have been interpreted as anti-EU, they ran this headline. No proof she actually said that, but it seems that way. Using that same logic, we could claim that the Queen now wants to cancel Brexit and stay part of the EU. I mean, ever since she gave her Queen's speech wearing a large EU flag-shaped cake. Of course, there's no proof she actually said she's anti-Brexit, but it seems that way. The Sun hates the EU so much that even when the EU does something unequivocally good, the Sun finds a reason to hate it. Case in point, EU mobile phone roaming fees. The European Union announced at long last that mobile phone companies can no longer charge you extra for traveling in different countries within the EU, or as they call it, roam like at home. Which the Sun would no doubt report as scandal. Now, when you want to travel to Europe, they make you talk like you're in Rome. I cannot believe the EU is making me talk in such a broad stereotype. Okay, that wasn't the actual Sun headline. It was this: massive gaffe. Yes, you see, because they've discovered that if you use some minor mobile phone provider called giffgaff, and you travel to certain countries in Europe, you could still be charged extra. And the example is Switzerland, which is not in the EU. If the EU would announce, "We've cured cancer," the Sun would run a headline, "EU still hasn't cured syphilis." To which you'd have to reply, A, there is a cure for syphilis, and B, are you trying to tell us something? Like, clearly Rupert Murdoch's brain is being riddled with a late-stage degenerative venereal disease? I'm not saying there's any truth to it, it just seems that way, so we have to report it. Final example, Google. Due to EU anti-competition rules, the EU slapped Google with a huge fine of 2.4 billion euros. And just guess the headline that the Sun would run. Fascist EU, socialist EU, EU makes gay marriage mandatory? Nope. We applaud the EU for their long overdue £2 billion fine for Google flouting competition rules. Wait, the Sun applauding the EU? That's just like something wrong in the universe, like the sun coming up in the west, or the sun being worth the paper it's printed on, or Australia being enlightened politically. Why would Rupert Murdoch and the Sun suddenly reverse themselves like that? I mean, they hate the EU, but maybe they hate Google more. What, does Rupert Murdoch own shares in Ask Jeeves? Or is it because Rupert Murdoch is convinced that Google is unfairly keeping him off their search results? Clearly, he's been talking to his friend Donald again. It's rigged. It's totally rigged. Google, they hate me. Hashtag stop the bias.